Hello, and welcome to the 2020 induction ceremony, which is the first one we have ever held virtually. I would like to point out that since the pandemic did not allow us to have an actual ceremony earlier this year, we are going to take this opportunity to recognize all our newest Phi Theta Kappa members from both the spring and the fall semesters. I would like to let you know something about how this ceremony is organized. We will start with our guest speaker, then our college president, Dr. McLeod, will make some remarks. After that, it will be my turn to speak, and our chapter officers will share some information about Phi Theta Kappa with you. Finally, we will introduce and focus on all of our inductees. First, I have the honor of introducing our guest speaker. In his own words, I was born a long, long, long time ago. I spent 30 years in law enforcement, going up the ranks to become chief of police, first in Ellenville, New York, and then in Ithaca, New York, where I retired. My next career was as director of surveillance at a racetrack and casino in Nichols, New York. While doing that, I served as chair of the first criminal justice program at Bryant and Stratton College in Syracuse, New York. I developed the program from its inception, and eventually it became the largest program on campus, finally outdistancing even their nursing program. I had lived in New York my entire life, and I got sick of shoveling snow and freezing 4 months of the year. Also, 4 of the world's greatest grandchildren live in South Carolina, and one of my sons is stationed at Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I wanted to be closer to them, and I was fortunate enough to be selected as chair of the Criminal Justice Program here at ECC. I started on August 15, 2011, and I will be retiring on the 31st of December of this year. I had a checkered college career. I started at 17 years of age, and even at that young age, I had a deep philosophical difference in education with the college. They wanted me to go to class and study, and I wanted to party and play drums in a rock and roll band. After 2 years, they asked that I leave and never come back. Notice he doesn't name this school. So I went to work, and after having a wife and a house full of kids, I went back to college at the College of St. Rose. When I had to budget my own time and money, somehow I ended up doing better. I graduated with a 3.92 GPA and went on to Russell Sage College to get my master's degree in public administration with a concentration in public service. While at Bryant and Stratton, I also received a certificate in advanced graduate studies from Bay Bath College in Massachusetts. That's how he summarizes his own life. To be honest, we usually invite guest speakers that seem to respect and emulate Phi Theta Kappa ideals. Although it may have taken him a little longer to get there, he is definitely a person who has recognized the importance of education, even devoting much of his life to the education of others. When needed, he has taken on leadership roles in his life, and I have personally witnessed his willingness to give back to his community in such service projects as Relay for Life. There is one more fact you need to know about our guest speaker. Because he is fairly modest, he did not mention in his story that he was chosen as our college's Kaheen Endowed Faculty Chair recipient in the fall of 2019. And to date, he is the only candidate to serve longer than a year in that position. Please give your attention to ECC's Criminal Justice Department Chair and award-winning faculty member, Rick Basil.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rick Basel, as I've been introduced. I'm here today to talk to you about something that I think is important. First of all, I'm thrilled to be here. I I'm sorry to do this virtually, mainly because Tamara has some great cookies at the end of the ceremony, and I'm going to miss that. But I want you to know that what you're doing is very important, and I'm not going to um, sit here and tell you, as I've said before, if you dream it, you can do it. Yes, you have to dream it, but you have to do the work to get there. And you all have been doing that. And to be inducted into this honor society is truly a great achievement because what you've done is join the ranks of um, regionally and nationally recognized honor society, and that's quite a feat. Um, what I want to talk to you today about is perception. Seeing something that seems one way and in reality it's another. Um, I'm going to use my wife Katie as an example. When we lived in New York, the kids were grown and out of the house. She decided she wanted to go back to college. Spoiler alert, she teaches at the college now, so you know how it turned out. But she decided she wanted to go back to college. She had gone to college right out of high school, but life got in the way and she never finished. So what she did is um, enroll in our community college and was able to finish her associate's degree in sociology. When we moved down here, when I took the position as criminal justice chair, she applied to and was accepted at East Carolina University. And she attended the new student orientation. And they had a number of open sessions. And then they had a session for the parents and they had a session for the students. So Katie walked into the student line and one of the monitors walked up to her and said, "Ma'am, this is for students. The parents are at the other entrance." And she had to laugh and she told her, "I'm the student." And the young lady was kind of embarrassed. She assumed and um, perceived um, an older woman, I will not say elderly, an older woman as being a parent, not the student. And ironically, when she finished at ECU and was scheduled for graduation, she went in to pick up her tickets for graduation. And the gentleman that gave her the tickets said, "You must be really proud of your son and daughter graduating." And again, she said, "I'm the student." He assumed that because of her age, that she was the student. And that's important. We're in an era right now. And again, I'm doing this via recording rather than being with you in person, which I feel very badly about. Um, COVID-19 has changed things. And the perception is that um, this is going to last forever. And it's really not. It's difficult right now. It's trying for us. I'm teaching all my courses online, which I can do it, but I miss the interaction with the students. I miss the face-to-face contact, and I truly learn a lot from my students. And not having that personal contact makes me feel bad. It really does because, um, again, my students keep me young. I really enjoy being with them, and I miss that. So the perception is that this is going to last forever. It's really not. It will be over. We will get back to some sense of normalcy, and I want you to be able to continue doing your work the way you've been doing it. You've been doing a great job. The fact that you're listening to this and you're being inducted into the honor society is important, and things will get better. Things will improve. We'll get back into the classroom. I'm going to retire as chair at the end of 2020, but I'm hoping to come back as an adjunct later on down the road because I really do miss the students and I love teaching. So hopefully I will be back and be able to see you all. Some of you have had Katie in class or will have Katie in class and or have had me in class. So hopefully I will get to see you again. I'm really, really proud of what you've done. I think you've done a fantastic job being accepted into this honor society. And I really think it's important that you continue to do the work. I know it's harder now, and students don't realize it, but doing online classes are is really more difficult than face to face. So you've been doing that, the last year, at least the last couple semesters, and you've been doing well, and that's something to be proud of. And I am really really proud of all of you. I'm proud of the work that Tamara's done. She has received several national awards. She's a fantastic leader, and with her guidance and being in the Honor Society, I think you will all do well. And I do appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Um, Again, I'm sorry about no cookies, but we will survive. So we wish you all well, and I'm not sure when this is going to play, but either have happy holidays or hopefully you had a very safe and happy holidays. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg McLeod, and I'm not only proud to serve as president here at Edgecombe Community College, but I'm also proud to be an honorary member of Phi Theta Kappa. On behalf of all of us here at the college, I congratulate each and every one of you on being inducted into this great organization. Having the drive, determination, and of course the smarts to meet the high standards to join Phi Theta Kappa is to be absolutely commended, and we are so proud of you, and I know your loved ones are as well. But upon joining, I encourage you to get involved and to contribute your talents and energies to the organization, especially at the chapter level. Our chapter, the awesome Alpha Omega Nu chapter of Phi Theta Kappa, which, by the way, is expertly led and supported by Miss Tamara Frank Parvati and the student officers, has year in and year out been recognized for their excellence on the regional and national levels. But that excellence can only be maintained with your active involvement, which not only benefits the chapter, but it also benefits the college, our community, and of course you. So again, congratulations, continued best wishes with your classes, and I look forward to seeing you actively involved in the chapter and at the college in general. In the meantime, continue to do your best, stay focused, and stay safe out there. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. McLeod, for sharing your thoughts with us. We are pleased and grateful that our college president can participate in our induction ceremonies. Well, it is my turn. Every other year, Phi Theta Kappa headquarters picks and announces a theme, which remains in effect for 2 years. The hope is that the theme will give us all an opportunity to grow as individuals and to focus on serving our communities. The current theme is, quote, "To the seventh generation, inheritance and legacy," unquote. So we have been thinking a great deal about legacies this year. When anyone mentions the word legacy, we tend to envision someone fairly far along a path who pauses and perhaps takes a look back. That pause is a crucial stopping point on the journey, an occasion to reflect on one's accomplishments and contributions. That stopping point is frequently perceived as an end. There are two important things to remember about endings. The first significant thing to remember about endings, and I would argue also about legacies, is that often they do not turn out the way we believe they will. I am reminded of the quote attributed to Margaret Millar, a Canadian writer, that states, "Life is something that happens while you're making other plans." We can end up somewhere different than we ever imagined we would be. This can be a wonderful thing. One example is portrayed in the movie Mr. Holland's Opus. Richard Dreyfuss plays Mr. Holland, a musician who is passionate about composing the next great and truly extraordinary piece of music, one that will make him be forever remembered. He tells himself, until that day, he will be a school music teacher. He spends a lifetime teaching music, never getting around to finishing that great piece of music. And he does not realize the true legacy he has built, how many lives he has touched, and how strongly he has affected them, until an entire orchestra of his former students come back to perform for him at the school. I can give you a more personal example. Over 20 years ago, I walked into Edgecombe Community College, thinking that I would tutor for a couple years, and then I would leave. When I started serving as a Phi Theta Kappa advisor, I also thought that that was meant to be a 2-year commitment. 2 decades later, I have lost count of all the friends I have made and the experiences I have had, which never would have been a part of my personal history if I had been busy following an arbitrary plan. Our life paths can take the directions we intend them to, and we can still end up with totally unexpected outcomes. People can wind up in careers they have always dreamed of and still reach surprising results. Perhaps some of the best examples come from inventions that were originally considered mistakes. The list is long, but I will give you just 2 or 3. While conducting some radar-related research, Percy Spencer, an engineer at Raytheon Corporation, discovered and used principles to create microwave ovens. An electrical engineer named John Hobbs was experimenting with radio frequencies to restore body temperature, which led to the design of pacemakers instead. At 3M Laboratories, a researcher who was supposed to be making a stronger adhesive named Spencer Silver made a weaker one that eventually landed on the back of Post-it notes. Astonishing mistakes have included cornflakes, potato chips, and even chocolate chip cookies. The second important thing to remember about endings is they are commonly not as final as people think. Just because someone takes the time to pause and consider what he or she has left as a legacy, that does not necessarily mean he or she is finished. Endings are repeatedly chances to start something new. As Seneca, a writer and philosopher in the ancient Roman Empire, once proposed, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. For those of you who believe those words sound very familiar. They also appeared as lyrics in the song Closing Time by Semisonic in 1998. Many stages in our lives exhibit these momentary conclusions. Childhood ends and adulthood commences. School years are completed and careers gear up. Once more, I can point to a nearby illustration. Our guest speaker completed a career in criminal justice and even retired, but that did not mean he was done. The completion of that phase of his life contained the seeds for the next portion of his life, for him to touch the lives and hearts of so many students as a compassionate educator. And we are fortunate that the twists and turns in his path guided him to share some of his time and expertise with us. So by all means, take the time to consider the legacy you are leaving. Let that reflection shape some of your choices and decisions. However, be prepared to still arrive at unforeseen locations. Leave yourself open to appreciate unanticipated consequences. And when you are gazing off at the horizon in front of you, do not make the mistake of believing that the culmination of your voyage is where you think you see it. Next, our chapter officers will share some information about Phi Theta Kappa with you. I would like to introduce you to Brooke Clark, our chapter president, Gabby Bautista, our vice president of scholarship, and Charnel Pittman, our vice president of leadership.
Honored President, advisors, deans, and fellow Phi Theta Kappa members, I am pleased to present to you these candidates for membership in our Honor Society. These students have fulfilled all requirements for membership and have been selected because they have chosen scholarship, leadership, service, and fellowship as their hallmarks. I recommend them for acceptance into the Alpha Omega Nu chapter of the Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society of two-year colleges.
You are about to be inducted into a scholarly fellowship which embraces 2 years of colleges, not only of your own state, but of the nation and the world. This fellowship is Phi Theta Kappa, and your chapter is Alpha Omega Nu. After induction, you will find among the members an atmosphere of scholarship to which you must give of yourself in order that the organization may be meaningful to you.
Our ideals may be expressed in the words of Sir Francis Bacon in his essay of studies. Studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. Their chief use for delight is in privateness and retiring. For ornament is in discourse, and for ability is in the judgment and disposition of business. Read not to contradict and confuse, not to believe and take for granted, not to find talk and discourse, but to weigh and consider.
A torch is symbolic of knowledge, which is the servant of wisdom, which dwells with prudence and leads in the way of righteousness in the midst of the path of judgment.
The white rose typifies purity and beauty of life, with its white buds signifying intellectual associations.
This is the emblem of Phi Theta Kappa. It's consistent of a gold slab, keyed at the top and bottom, the gold field, like the escutcheon of our coat of arms, refers to the golden opportunities that abound. On every hand for society folk to evidence their culture and perform good works. Since gold is the most noble of metals, it shall have a further significance to our society. For it shall represent the nobility attained by those who achieve intellectual leadership.
Across the slab, you will observe a black band. It represents the three ideals which band us together. The cultural self-control, which is the necessary foundation of true wisdom, aspiration, and purity. Shining through the black enamel background are the three Greek letters which are the initials of those three Greek words meaning wisdom, aspiration, and purity.
Behind the band is a wreath. On the one side composed of oak leaves and on the other laurel. The oak leaves stand for stability and strength of character, as symbolized by the sturdy oak. The graceful curling leaves of the laurel signify achievement and success, all attributes for membership in our society.
Above the band is the representation of the head of Athena, a symbol of learning. In the base appears the Greek letters meaning light, the light of knowledge, learning, and the common ideal for members of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. This badge stands as a symbol for the high idealism of our organization and membership in our select group. You have studied the constitution of this organization, the purpose of which is to foster a spirit of devotion to study and for scholarly ideas among its members whose principles are embodied in the Greek letters which stand for phronemon, thermos, katharotes, wisdom, aspiration, and purity. Now that the standards and ideas of this organization have been fully revealed to you, you come to complete the pledge which admits you into complete fellowship.
Traditionally, in our face-to-face or in-person ceremonies, this is the time when the new group of inductees would take the oath together. We wanted the entire audience to be able to see and hear the oath they would take. So here it is. I do solemnly promise on this 15th day of December to uphold the standards of Phi Theta Kappa and to keep this object and aim in mind, and I do solemnly pledge allegiance to my fellow members and promise to aid them in all worthy endeavors. After the oath is when we always have a chance to actually focus on our newest members. And we will start with the members that we welcomed in spring of 2020. Diego Alonso Garcia is majoring in or working on an associate degree in science. His anticipated graduation date is 2022. Brooke Clark is in the respiratory therapy program. Her anticipated graduation date is 2022. Heather Etheridge is majoring in business administration, and she aims to graduate in 2022. Quantira Farmer is getting an associate degree in science, and she aspires to graduate in 2022. Janice Cornegie is majoring in office administration, and she is endeavoring to graduate in 2021. Nikita Purvis has a medical office administration major, and she joined us in the spring, and her anticipated graduation date was actually in our delayed graduation this August, and she finished. This just proves that our people can graduate and get done with their classes here at ECC. We're very happy for Nikita. Nadia Sharp is working on an associate degree in arts, and she seeks to graduate in 2022. Kimberly Sisk is in the medical assisting program. Her anticipated graduation date was also 2020, and she walked or graduated in August. Yashika Spruill is working on a business administration major, and she intends to graduate in 2021. Jonah Usuri is in the radiography program, and he means to graduate in 2021. Erica Vincent is working on a business administration degree. Her anticipated graduation date was 2020, and she is another one of our lucky individuals that finished. Then we move on to our latest group that we are welcoming to the chapter, our 2020 fall inductees. Caden Barfield is working on an associate degree in science, and he expects to graduate in 2023. Sydney Bristow Smith is working on an associate degree in science, and she hopes to graduate in 2023. Cheryl Diane Bynum is working on an associate degree in the arts, and she plans to graduate in 2021. Brinkley Dew is working on an associate degree in science. She proposes to graduate in 2023. Sarah Ensing is majoring in criminal justice, and she looks forward to graduating in 2022. Kimberly Harris is majoring in health information technology, and she looks forward to graduating in 2021. Elise Hines is working on an associate degree in science, and she anticipates graduating in 2023. Felix Jenkins III is majoring in information technology, and he aims to graduate in 2021. Dakota Jones is working on an associate degree in science, and she aspires to graduate in 2023. Nikki Knight Barnes is majoring in early childhood education, and she expects to graduate in 2022. Yu Lian Lin is working on an associate degree in arts, and she endeavors to graduate in 2021. Alana Moore is working on an associate degree in science, and she seeks to graduate in 2022. Cameron Newcomb is working on an associate degree in science, and she intends to graduate in 2022. Madison Parkerson is working on an associate degree in science, and she means to graduate in 2023. John Taylor is working on an associate degree in science also. He means to graduate in 2022. Dustin Van Horn is working on an associate degree in science, and he hopes to graduate in 2021. Sarah West is working on an associate degree in general education with a concentration on dental hygiene. She expects or proposes to graduate in 2021. Knowledge and connections are both sources of light in the dark, and Phi Theta Kappa can be one of those lights. This is one of my very favorite parts about being an advisor in this organization. Everyone in the audience, I would like to introduce to you our newest Phi Theta Kappans. When you get a chance to see them in person, please congratulate them. Thank you for visiting with us in our virtual induction ceremony.